The president, the Department of Homeland Security, say that we're not at war with Islamic fundamentalism. In fact, that there is no war on terror. It's a war on hurricanes, and it's a war on natural disasters. So I think that I want to be a good boy and get along and go along with the government. And I'm not going to mention 9/11. I think it's unpatriotic in this Obama time, in the time of Obama, to mention 9/11 because it's an affront to liberalism to remember 9/11. Now, it is true that some of you are throwbacks and you remember 9/11, you remember World War II, you know, quaint things like that. You even remember things like the Revolutionary War, Civil War. But you're the throwback Americans. You're not the new Americans. The new American has no history at all. Most Americans are not Americans. In fact, if you are an American, you're un-American, according to the Obama administration, because you believe in America. And anyone who believes in America should be investigated immediately by the Department of Cass Sunstein Security. Because the new czars and the new appointees of Obama believe that if you actually believe in America too strongly, you're probably suspect in the sense that you may be a threat to the government. And so, therefore, we shouldn't remember 9/11 at all. I think it's very important that we forget 9/11 as quickly. Illegal immigrant rights. We should talk about health care for everyone on the planet. We should talk about higher taxes on the rich. That would be anybody who earns a living. We should talk about anything except clip 14. Listen to 14. And don't hold it, stop. I'm about to play for you audio from air traffic control tapes released June 17, 2004 by the 9/11 Commission. You're about to hear one of the hijackers, presumably Mohammed Atta, trying to pretend to be the captain of the plane before he crashes it. Listen to clip 14, but hold it. You didn't hear this on the Savage Nation. It's just a secret between us. Go ahead.
Nobody moved. Everything will be okay. If you try to make any move, you'll danger yourself and the airplane. Just stay quiet.
Now, you see, there was an intelligent gentleman. That was Mohammed Atta speaking for the Obama administration. As he was hijacking the plane, Mohammed Atta pretended to be the captain, and he told the passengers, nobody move, everything is okay. If you try to move, you endanger yourself in the plane, let's be quiet. In other words, leave it to government, leave it to the authorities. And that's the new ethos of the Obama administration. Don't say a word. Don't move. If you try to say a word, you endanger yourself in America. So just hush, hush, my darling. That's the new way in America. Okay? Now, here's another one from another hijacker that could become the new ethos of Cass Sunstein. Clip 15. That I can't understand. Turn it off. All right. Now he tells the people on the plane that they shouldn't move. They shouldn't try to stop them as hijackers. Many of us feel as though America's been hijacked, by the way, by this government. I don't know how to tell this to you, but I get emails all day long from people who are having nightmares about being homeless. Their houses have been taken from them. Their children have been taken from them. They're penniless. Why are they having these nightmares? I don't know. I really have no idea. Because Obama's a healer. He's a uniter. And all of the good people around them, all the czars, you have to trust them. Although no one vetted them, although none of them went through any congressional screening or FBI investigation, you have to trust that they're all good, that they mean well. And that would show that you're a good American in the new America. Otherwise, if you're distrustful of the government, by definition, you should be investigated. You should never distrust government. Well, it was true that when Bush was in power, you were supposed to distrust government. But now that communists and socialists and anarchists are running America, you should trust them because they told you so. Look, for example, they love Fidel Castro. They can't get enough of Fidel Castro. They glorify Fidel Castro. Wonderful, superb individuals like the movie director Steven Spielberg, whose ancestors fled the Tsar of Russia, whose own father fought in World War II as a bomber pilot. Steven Spielberg loves the dictator Castro. Now, it is true that a man in Cuba dared say while drunk that he was that they could use food, and that instead of waving flags, he'd rather have a good meal, and that Castro put him in jail for 2 years, and his sentence was just upheld. Don't tell that to Steven Spielberg, because it would embarrass him. And the last thing you want to do is make sure that the Leni Riefenstahl of the Obama administration is uncomfortable. I suspect that Spielberg will become the Leni Riefenstahl of Obama and do some kind of heroic footage of him entering a stadium somewhere with American, well, universal UN flags waving, whatever, shot at certain angles to make him look more noble than he isn't, making certain that the ears don't show in a certain way because that's un-American unto itself. I mean, if you notice that Obama has large ears, you're suspect. If you are disgusted by Nancy Pelosi sucking on candy with a fixed smile while Obama speaks and you feel as though you're in a nightmare, a sort of communist Chinese training film, you're also suspect. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Do you get it? So that's why I'm not going to do 9/11 today, because if I do, I might be investigated for being patriotic, and patriotism, as you well know, is suspect in the new America. Now, you do remember New York fireman Mike Moran. I hope he's still around. Listen to clip 18.
Our friends, our neighbors, our relatives, they are not gone because they are not forgotten. And I want to say one more thing. In the spirit of the Irish people, Osama bin Laden, you can kiss my royal Irish ass.
Yeah, up the British. That's what I say. Then there was the genius from Hollywood, Richard Gere, who wanted compassion for the hijackers. As you well know, he has compassion for furry creatures, and so therefore he had compassion for the terrorists themselves. Listen to clip 19.
I think in this situation right now, when we have the possibility of taking this energy, this horrendous energy that we're all feeling, and the possibility of turning it into more violence and revenge, we can stop that. We can take that energy and turn it into something else. We can turn it into compassion, into love, into understanding. That's apparently unpopular right now.
Yeah, it's unpopular. Unpopular Richie from Brooklyn, huh? Where'd you learn that, Richie? The oilcloth, the seltzer got to you? What was it? What got to you, Richard? Too much carbon dioxide from the seltzer? You know, I'm starting to think that the obsession with carbon dioxide amongst liberals stems back to all the seltzer that most of them drank in the kitchens of Brooklyn and the Bronx when they were youth. It could be that the seltzer, which, as you know, is a result of carbonation, the carbon dioxide got to their brains and they have a sort of toxic reaction to seltzer. And it's not really global warming that they're against. They're really against seltzer. Let me think about that. I'll be right back.
Savage.
That was Hillary Clinton after 9/11 being booed because many people blamed her policies, her husband's policies, and of course the current policies are the same, in creating a climate of pacifism, that led to 9/11. Now, I, of course, don't believe that because that would be unpatriotic. And as you well know, I absolutely don't want to be seen as well, I actually do want to be seen as unpatriotic in a way, because to be seen as patriotic by Hillary Clinton and Obama and Janet Napolitano was actually quite dangerous. So I declare I am not patriotic. Actually, the more I think about it, it's good not to be patriotic in these times. I think you should embrace a terrorist, like a New York Times reporter who went over there, and although a British commando died to free him, the New York Times is not apologetic, nor do they in any way say thanks to the grieving family, because one journalist is worth 1,000 white trash soldiers to them. You don't understand how they think. A journalist is an elite, distinguished, evolved human being. A soldier, cannon fodder. You don't understand the New York mentality. They are in a class by themselves. They're as close to God as you can possibly get. Well, they don't believe in God. I mean, as close to the gods, let's put it to you that way, as one could get. That's what a journalist is to himself or herself. And so, therefore, although a soldier died, it was nothing. One commando for one New York Times reporter, it would have been worth 1,000 to pinch Sulzberger to get one of his He was told not to go in there. They told him don't go near the Taliban. But see, he was a lib. Liberal reporters believe that the evil ones are the, well, let's put it this way. Liberal reporters believe that the only evil on the planet is the white male heterosexual Christian, and that the Taliban are simply expressing a grievance against the oppressive West. And since they have those sensibilities, somehow the Taliban would understand that they're one of the good guys. It's sort of like a liberal going into a bad neighborhood, feeling they can't be mugged. They have sort of a special dispensation. And so if they go into a very dangerous neighborhood, they're sure that a gang member won't hit them. In fact, they can't be hit by a bullet. They're protected by a sort of invisible shield. You get the picture, don't you? So they booed Hillary Clinton for having established the mentality that they feel opened us up to an attack, But that